mean, you got to understand the history behind both storied programs. It's pretty incredible. I mean, the people that have come out of there. I got interviewed after, and they asked, what was, if you had to put a word to Harbaugh, what would it be? And I said iconic. I mean, you have to respect that. The history that's behind both storied programs. The 10-year war and everything else. Because we're very well educated on. I'd like to say that we're pretty well educated on the history of the rivalry itself, and the characters that have been in both types of both programs itself. It's huge. It's huge, and every single year you make part of that history. You change that history. Win loss, who does what players are playing. And so every year is a huge statement game for us. So.
Is that part of the reason that you wanted to come here to play?
I mean, this is the best rivalry in all sport. As Coach Meyer always says in the video that everybody sees, it is the. I guess we're biased because we're in it. It's the toughest, most physical rivalry that I've ever seen played. Alabama, LSU is probably second in my opinion, but that's again because I'm biased to it. It's extremely physical and tough, and again. Both blue collar people, and that's what happens.
How much is being from
respect for the rivalry itself, and so those are situations where you have to educate and teach. Like Mike Weber. Mike Weber's from that state up north. I mean, he went in last week. Again, very tough. Almost a homecoming game for him since he's going back home. Same thing with Michael Jordan. I mean, again, but he understands the significance of it, and I know Mike Jordan was actually born in Ohio, but he played ball up there. So in a case like that, it's again. They understand it, they respect it, and they understand the intensity of it.
You talk about two programs that have.
What really happens on that field, and what happens, especially playing offensive line, what happens in those front seven against our front seven, that's what defines the game. They've got great players, we've got great players on the outside. But again, if you don't win up front, the game, it doesn't matter what happens on the outside, because if you can't run the ball, stop the ball, for both sides of the thing, it's just the game's lopsided.
When you watch film from the game last year,
it's a challenge for an offensive line, especially when you go in to play the next team. I mean, again, if you have a defensive line and make a statement like that, that's a challenge. And we look forward to playing those guys on Saturday and getting after and protecting JT. It is a big picture thing, but the problem is if you start focusing on the big picture things, that's when mistakes happen early in front of your face. And again, that's as an older guy, it's Pat and my job is to make sure, hey, we are focused at this game. Yes, the granddaddy and all that great stuff. Okay, cool, but that stuff comes when you take care of each and every week. So it's almost like a byproduct of it. So if you take care of, you beat the team up north, you beat Michigan State, you beat whoever you're playing. Those things come along with it. So that's why I always tell you guys, we focus at this, because if we take care of that, that happens. So it's always a cause and effect.
But it's never a motivational thing, like when you're in the summer.
Well, athletic and big. I know that because I've played against every single one of them. Taco's a pretty athletic guy, quick, and he's an Ohio guy. Chris Wormley, big, strong dude. Again, I know Chris. The two interior guys, I don't really know particularly much. We've played against them, but the Ohio guys I know personally. So.
Why you feel good?